Hello, this is Matt.
Kosei.
Mark. Guillaume. James.
Mel.
Zach. This is David.
Terry here.
This is PSG Talking.
Le seul podcast sur le PSG en anglais.
Hello and welcome to another episode of PSG Talking. My name is Ed and I'm your host. Joining me today we have fellow contributors Ty and James. We called an emergency podcast with the draw going down for the Champions League round of 16, and we wanted to get instant reaction to everything that happened, but in particular, the marquee matchup, PSG Barcelona, first time since 2017, I believe it was, let's not even talk about what happened then. Let's just keep it, looking forward. But first, let's go around and say hey to everyone. James, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Ed?
It's all good. I mean, we were kind of riding a high there, and then with PSG, and then the Neymar injury, which I'm sure we'll talk about, and the Lyon match, which we won't talk about on this pod, but it's been a roller coaster of a season, but hanging in there. And Ty, how are you?
I'm good, man. Happy holidays, fellas. Good to see everybody. Glad to always catch up and talk a little footy. But all in all, everything's good. Busy like everybody else, but it's nice to take a break and talk PSG for a little bit.
Let's just dive right into it. Ty, what was your initial reaction when you saw the little ping pong balls and the paper come out and it was PSG Barcelona? What did you think?
That's a great question. I think so usually I'm, you can ask my girlfriend, I'm that guy that wakes up at 5 a.m. to watch the draw and sit on my couch with my coffee. And today I actually didn't, so I didn't know. I didn't get to do the live reaction. I had just seen the Bleacher Report update on my phone, but it feels like it's time, and I think it also feels like it was just meant to happen. I didn't feel like PSG was going to get the easy draw. I'm not upset with the draw. I don't think it's a bad matchup. I actually think it's a good matchup. I just think, this is a battle of the two teams that perfectly personify Jekyll and Hyde. Right. It's like you just don't know. I don't know how to call this. I don't know who's going to show up in February. I don't know what PSG is going to show up. I don't know what Barcelona is going to show up. I think Barcelona is a team that is, truly the definition of start the season really slow, and then they come into February and find a way to just get it done. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good matchup. I think the teams are excited for it. I think they're up for it. So we'll see. I think these next couple months or even weeks, to be more specific, are going to be very telling as to, how I feel, So I say I feel indifferent, kind of confident, but indifferent, but I want to reserve the ability to change my opinion if PSG play a couple more performances like they did yesterday.
Yeah, and we should say that the first leg is going to be on February 16th, and the second leg at the Parc des Princes will be on March 10th. So we've got quite a ways to go. A lot can change. But James, what was your initial reaction when you saw the draw in PSG and Barcelona?
Yeah, well, you guys actually broke the news for me in the super secret podcast Discord channel.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't really paying much attention to it today, and I'm working, and I see the little message come across that we drew Barcelona, and I was like, yeah, of course we did. Why would you expect anything different? We win the group again, and there you go, getting drawn one of the hardest out of the other pot. But I'm not particularly upset about it either, because I think that in the past you could say that PSG might have been looking up to Barcelona and trying to take down the giant, but in this case, so long as Neymar is healthy. This is what Neymar is here for. This is why he's not at Barcelona.
Right.
And if he wants to forever be out of Messi's shadow, well, guess what? You're gonna have to knock Messi out of the tournament this time. So
what was the Ric Flair saying? To be the man, you got to beat the man.
Yeah, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And Neymar's having a hard time keeping these alligators down. So I think that. I'm optimistic because, when you have a guy that's a competitor like Neymar, I don't think that he's going to back down at all. I don't think Mbappe is going to back down, but I think there's a little something extra for Neymar out of this match.
No, for sure. I agree. I think, just to piggyback, listen, if PSG come in and they're at that level, right? If they're at that level and the PSG that we know they can be, that all of us thrive for them to be, that we wake up in Champions League days and we're like, oh, guys, we have the potential to be the best team in Europe or one of the best teams, then yes, we should be able to handle Barcelona. That should not be an issue. But again, it comes down to who shows up and who doesn't. And the Neymar thing is iffy, right? I didn't watch the game yesterday, but that looked bad. I know they're saying 3 weeks, but this is very reminiscent, right, of what we went through last year with Neymar around Dortmund, where yes, he was back, but you could tell that first leg in Dortmund, he wasn't there. Like he wasn't on his game, and when Neymar's not on his game, he tries to force things, and also, it's going to be big. Maybe with Neymar out and more the spotlight being or more the game plan being around Mbappe, maybe that gives him a chance to find his form because, again, like he's not it right now, right? He's not who we need him to be, and that equally can be said for Di Maria. It seems like Di Maria forgot how to play footy for a little bit. I don't know what's going on, and he's also a key cog. So a lot has to happen, like I said, again, in these next couple of weeks, for me to really feel confident. Right now, I truly feel 50-50. That is where my head's at.
Yeah, and we've got 2 legs too, right? So this is, if Tuchel's still around, he's going to have to do this twice. He can't put together a great one and then put together a stinker the second time. And we also need to make sure that we stay off the injury list. We can't have Verratti and Neymar and Di Maria and all these other guys that are hurt where we don't have any kind of subs and we got to play guys who we already know that are a little subpar and that aren't informed too. So I think I'm right there with you, Ty.
Yeah, I don't know if you and obviously Ed hasn't given a chance to give his prediction yet, but I don't know if you guys saw the ESPN not first take, but FC today with the Gab and Jules, and I kind of agree. I think Gab had a chance, and he was like, "Listen, between me and you and Jules agreed is like I think Tuchel likes this draw. I think he likes this draw. The way they play, their back line, the way they play under, Koeman, I think it benefits PSG. Unlike, for example, a team like Man U, which it's weird, right? Sports is all about matchups at the end of the day, right? Just it's football, right? James, and basketball. Sports that we're all familiar with, and I think Man U, it's like weird. They're just a bad matchup for PSG, and it's a team that they should beat, but they playing on the counter, sitting back, and pace on the edge. Barcelona doesn't play like that. They don't, right? They're more in the middle of the field. They play more in the front foot, or at least try. I don't think they can sustain just parking the bus and just letting PSG, come at them. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah. So I found out. I woke up to this draw and I was pleasantly surprised. I don't know if you guys saw my tweets, but I had the famous "We want Bama." If you're a college football fan, change it to Barca, and I wanted them. I don't want to run scared of this team. They're not anyone to be afraid about, and so I wanted them. I wanted Neymar to go up and just finally just knock them out, and just stand up and finally just beat Messi, and so everyone just silence all of the haters. So whether it's now, whether it's in a final, I wanted Barcelona. And I got them. So I was very happy with this. And I think that there's a few things working in PSG's favor this time. So first of all, I think no fans, having to go to the Camp Nou, and I don't think there'll be any fans. And if there are, it'll be very little. So that all that pressure that we saw in 2017 where the fans got behind Barcelona and we just lost 6-1. And we could never overturn that tide of emotion, that Barcelona was playing with. We won't have that anymore. And so I think that's working in PSG's favor. The second leg being in Paris, I think you'll know what you need, and hopefully they can go out and do that. So I think that works. And also, we were talking a little bit about Angel Di Maria and some of the other players. I think the holiday break, this isn't the Premier League where they make those guys play Boxing Day all throughout the month of December. PSG will get a little bit of a break, and I always feel like they come back with a little bit better health and better spirits, and I think the next year will be better for PSG and they'll be a lot more rested. So I'm optimistic about this, but I want to ask you guys, do you think right now PSG is favored, or do you think this is a 50-50 toss-up game or tie, I guess? We'll go with Ty. What do you think?
I personally think this is 50-50 just because I don't think that we've been on our game. I think it's just like you watch the games against Man U, like you watch the group stage. I get it, right? Like we're used to doing this, right? Things kind of starting slow and then we topping the group, but like it feels like we just like limped through the group stage. Like it just wasn't pretty football. And listen, at the end of the day, one of my best friends, he's a big Liverpool fan, right? And the year that Liverpool was in our group, they basically limped through the group stage. And one thing he would always say is, listen, at the end of the day, all you have to do is qualify. That's all you have to do, right? That's all that matters. And it's true, right? Because the teams that play in the group stage when group stage ends in December and the teams that play in January or February and March are two different. It's a lot of time for things to change, for formations to change. Who knows if either coach is going to be there, right? Who knows if Tuchel's going to be there? Who knows if Koeman is going to be there, because things aren't going well for him either. I think the bookies have PSG as slight favorites. But in my head, like I said, right now I'm going to go with 50-50. But I know as this gets closer, we will, kind of regroup as a team and we'll talk about it. And that definitely could change. It could swing heavily one way. It could swing heavily the other way. Barcelona is also not playing well. I think, what are they, like 7th or 8th in La Liga?
They're basically
yeah. And I think a lot of it also is going to be determined on like injuries, like you said, right? Who gets healthy? They have a lot of injuries as well. Ansu Fati is out. Dembele is out. I think PK is hurt. Like, are these individuals going to make it back? Like, PK is a big one. Are they going to have to rely on Longley or Umtiti or somebody else because they're already a little bit older at the back? Is the pace of Dembele going to be there? Is he liable to get injured if he comes back before the match even is there? I don't even know if Ansu Fati is a realistic return. I mean, didn't he tear his like cruciate or ACL or something?
I believe so. Yeah, it's a long-term injury for him. I can look it up.
So the next couple months, developing a game plan, getting healthy is going to be key. What did I preach in the chat, right? All through the group stage, as we were kind of starting to like panic, I was like, listen, live to fight another day. Take a 1-0 win, get healthy. And as Verratti came back, you saw them start to play better. And listen, the game against Lyon, I think I'm upset, right? You never want to see your team play like that. But at the end of the day, like, I think I'm not as hard on Tuchel and some other people on the team as others have been, because I think it's just a weird year. PSG played very late into the season. They went to the final. They had like a 2-week break. Like, that's got to be tough to come back and compete, and then like kind of compressed schedule and all that kind of stuff. So you're right. The holiday break, letting things kind of get back to normal, giving them time to decompress and then just work on things strictly in the league and not have to worry about the CL for a couple of weeks or even like 2 months, I think is going to do them well.
Yeah, the last game of the year will be on December 23rd against Strasbourg, and then they don't return until January 6th against Saint-Etienne. So nice little break there. And I did look up Ansu Fati. He was injured, looks like a knee injury. He'll be out for 4 months according to the Barcelona website, and that was in November. So highly role.
Yeah, a lot of these injuries will be cutting it close, and Neymar, you throw his name in there as well. I think, they say 3 weeks, but coming back from a bad sprain like that, I mean, I doubt he's going to be 100%. They're even saying, like, I think I think it was Jules on a podcast last week was saying, even till this day, he doesn't feel like Mbappe is back to 100% after that ankle injury, right? Like, he still feels like he doesn't have that extra gear in his ankle, or he doesn't make cuts like that. So we'll see, man. It's, how fast can Neymar, bounce back in ankles that seem to be brittle and seem to be a continuous problem for him.
Yeah, when he does come back, say if it's mid-January, the good thing, Neymar will have a few games. You've got Angers and Ligue 1. You got a couple other games. You got a game against Marseille on the road. So he'll have some tough games to kind of get his fitness up. So if he is able to come back, hopefully we can get him up to speed for the first tie on February 16th. But James, what do you think? How are you looking at this matchup? Do you think PSG's favored, or is it a toss-up in your eyes?
In my eyes, I think it's closer to a toss-up. I was kind of just poking around the odds right now. Of course, I'm only pulling up odds for the upcoming match, which Barcelona is favored, but of course, they're at home, so I expect that. I don't know. I feel like the odds should be in PSG's favor. I'm just, I don't know, a little reserved on it. Only because I don't trust them over the holiday break. You know, the last break they had, we had the whole Ibiza situation, so I don't know who's going to be able to go and who's not going to be able to go.
Yeah.
So
if they get the vaccine, they're likely to just go crazy and go. Who knows what kind of
right, exactly. So I don't know. I still don't necessarily trust them all yet over breaks, but I still think it's a little bit of a toss up.
Yeah, it's a toss up. And Ty, I think you said that the bookies are putting PSG as slight favorites. I don't know if you guys saw that. Was it 538? They didn't even have PSG as one of the favorites to win the entire tournament, which I'm fine with. We'll fly under the radar. We'll win the whole thing, and no one expects us to. That's fine with me. I do want to.
They don't deserve to be.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, let's be honest, right? They don't deserve to be. I said, let's be honest, right? Like after the group stage, like they don't look
for real,
right? So yeah, like I'm okay with being objective, right? Like it's okay. Now things can change, right? And those like odds go a lot by just like schedule. Like Man City always gets an easy draw, like or a relatively easy draw. So based on what I saw in the group stage, if I had to be a betting man, I wouldn't say that PSG are in the top 3 or 4 to win the Champions League this year either. But again, that can change. Like a lot can change just because the schedule is so crazy, and this break can be a massive, massive help to them.
Yeah, as long as they don't party too hard. But I do want to ask you guys, the holes in the squad are obvious. In January, we know restrictions in terms of finances, and maybe there's some loan deals that need to be had. Dele Alli and at Tottenham potentially on loan. But what additions does this team need to have? And if you have a name, go ahead and throw it out there. But if you want to just mention which positions that Leonardo should be looking at, Ty, if you could have one signing, what would it be for you? Specifically in mind.
Yeah, I don't know if I have I guess I kind of have some people in mind. I don't know if I love them, but I can tell you where I think we need to strengthen. I think the midfield is still an issue for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think to this day, I think just watching the games recently, I think Marquinhos, I know some people don't like seeing him in the midfield, but sometimes watching other people play in the midfield just kind of gives some weight to Tuchel's decisions. You know what I mean? And that's not going to be a popular response with a lot of fans, and I get that. But Danilo is a great, but is he a PSG caliber player? I mean, I don't know. I don't love what I see from him. I think he's not a great passer. I don't know if he's super fast. He can't really help advance the ball. Paredes ended the season last year really well, but he's kind of reverted a little bit. I don't know if he's playing great. So Verratti is the only person that I truly have faith in. I like Rafinha as well as of late. I think he should be starting. And then Verratti, he misses games. He can't stay healthy. He parties. He smokes cigarettes. He gets yellow cards because he just decides he wants to yell at the ref, and he's liable or due for a straight yellow just for walking on the pitch. So. Yeah, I think some of the people that are interesting, I think the Dele Alli thing is interesting. I don't know if he's a world beater, but listen, it's a loan, right? And I think, he was a key cog in Pochettino, in his system, in Tottenham. And the other one that's interesting, I think, is Eriksen. I think, he is a little bit older. Maybe he doesn't have as much runway in terms of his legs for the long term, but he's also, someone who is a true playmaker. He's a true playmaker, right? Yeah. These aren't individuals who are going to play, in the back or play a deep lying role. They're going to play on the front foot. He can cross the ball. He can take free kicks. He can, provide service. I think one of the things also is, bring in someone that can change how we play to make Icardi more effective, right? If we spent 50 million, but he's playing in a system where he's not getting service and we're playing strictly through Neymar and through Mbappe, then if that's the case, then yeah, just ship Icardi off and get somebody else and get some of our money back. But if we can change or add pieces to change our play style slightly, right, to also provide someone that can provide service into the box. Also, our left backs and right backs, Florenzi's a change of pace, but we don't really provide a lot of great balls. If you really look at our games. Florenzi is due for a good ball, here and there throughout the games, but Bakker, he's not a great, doesn't deliver a great ball into the box. Pembele doesn't either. Obviously, he's younger. So for me, it's I think midfield, getting another truly top-tier midfielder to play alongside Verratti is key, and I think Eriksen could be that person. I think he changes the way PSG play a lot, actually. That would be really interesting.
Our crosses into the box are just so sad. Like, I don't know if we've scored.
Yeah.
Like, if I was Tuchel, I would, if you cross the ball into the box, you're going to be sitting next to me. Stop it. We never score that way. Do something different. It's just not going to work. We don't have the players for it. It would be nice to have Icardi, but he's on a Hesse trajectory right now. It's a little bit concerning, but that's a topic for another podcast. James, is there a position or a player you have in mind that this team needs to add in order to really have the edge against Barcelona?
Yeah, I don't have a player in mind, but I do have a position, and Ty kind of touched on it, but he went a little bit of a different angle than I would have. So he mentioned about Marquinhos playing in the midfield. I am one of those fans that don't want him in the midfield only because I know he doesn't want to be there, and I just want him to be happy.
Yeah.
But he's also, he's one of our better midfielders, and he's also probably the best central back that we have. So the problem is, to me, that if you have to keep taking him off of your back line to put him in the midfield, then clearly the midfield is the problem. So I think we've got to get more depth, more consistency, less yellow cards. I don't know what you say to Verratti to get him to. What was he on? He was in the match for 7 minutes and picked up a yellow card.
Yellow. He's almost guaranteed to get suspended at some point.
Bro, he breathes and gets a yellow card. Like it's ridiculous. And I think we went different ways, but we came back to the same point, right? I think Tuchel has to play Marquinhos in the midfield because he doesn't have other options that he trusts. And I don't blame him. There aren't, and we play better sometimes when Marquis is in the middle. And I get it; he should be in the back line. That's where we want him. But our midfield lacks world class talent outside of Verratti. And until we can beef up the midfield and get that talent, he will continuously have to rely on Marquinhos to at least flex or dabble in that position, or do whatever he does. But yeah, I think the midfield continues to be the problem.
Yeah, and that pretty much sums it up for me. As long as Tuchel feels like he has to keep putting Marquinhos down in the midfield, then we have a midfield problem.
Well, we're all on the same page. I'll throw mine out there real quick. There was a guy who was in the Champions League, but he's not any longer. He actually tweeted, "See you soon, .. at Champions League." And that would be Eduardo Camavinga at Rennes. Could Leonardo work out some sort of Mbappe deal where it's a loan with an obligation to pay X amount of dollars once all this coronavirus goes away and the finances get shored up a little bit? You had the Media Pro contract in France where clubs aren't getting all that money they thought they were going to get. Maybe Rennes are desperate to pass him on, and if PSG step up, he would be a player and he would be eligible to play as far as I understand. So, and he would help tremendously in the midfield going forward, and then maybe have Verratti and Marquinhos in the midfield, just kind of shore things up on defense. I think that's a player that I would be looking at. It might be a little bit of a pipe dream, but if you want to beat Barcelona, a player like that could do it for you. So wanted to keep this podcast a little bit short, but I don't know, are you guys ready to give your prediction for this, or is it still too early?
I want to address what you just said real quick. That's definitely a pipe dream. I just want you to know. I don't want to bust your bubble, but yeah, I definitely don't see them letting him go, especially in a season where PSG is struggling at the top and the gap is so close between them and other teams. I just don't see them, letting him go. And the money that they would ask for, I don't even know if PSG has that right now. Listen, I could be wrong. I've seen crazier things in the world of football and transfer markets, but I definitely don't see them in January, or see a way that PSG can get him in January. I feel like that's that's a reach.
Just a short-term loan. Just let us borrow him just a little bit. We'll see. I mean, do you guys see? You mentioned the title race. Do you see that really impacting PSG's preparation for Barcelona? Because they're not going to be able to take any of these Ligue 1 games off, really. All of them are going to matter unless the other teams, Lille and
Yeah, I do think that's a problem.
yeah.
Could it be a benefit?
Oh, that's a good point.
When's the last time we played in the Champions League and we actually had to like compete in the league, that we weren't like 10 to 14 points ahead and games actually mattered and teams didn't see us as overwhelming favorites and they were coming at us? Like, I'm interested to see, like, how this plays out, because things have been always such a breeze in the past and people have always commented on us like, oh, the league is too easy, that's why they struggle in the Champions League. It's hard to, you can't just breeze through the league and turn it on Wednesdays and Tuesdays. So I'm interested to see, what this does, and things being tight and the team being like, no, we have to go out and compete and play at a high level to not only fend off the other people in the league, but not embarrass ourselves, in France, and then come into Tuesday and Wednesday, and hopefully maybe it's like what's the saying, rock sharpening steel or something like that.
Yeah, steel sharpens steel or something like that.
Yeah,
Iron sharpens iron.
Iron. There we go.
So we'll see, man.
We had our metals mixed up.
Yeah,
But yeah,
exactly.
I think that, to your point, the February 7th matchup against Marseille on the road, that's going to be huge preparation for them.
I hope you're right. I do agree there's something to be said about, having to always be kind of in form for all of your matches. But especially in recent light of Neymar's injury, it's like the more often you gotta put him out there, the more often he's getting chopped down. And if you have to be trying that hard to chase a League Cup, I worry that more things like this happen. I mean, obviously there's more opportunity, but I think it might be more intentional more often because teams feel like they have something to play for.
Yeah, I also don't think you can't sit him though, right? Like, I think that was the thing that we dealt with last year, and he complained about it, right? He made a big stink about it to the media, which he wanted to play, he was ready to play, but PSG were worried, so they held him out for 3 straight games, and then he came into the game super rusty, and he was like, what professional player can sit for 3 games and then, be sharp or be in form? So, he's going to have to play. I mean, and for him, he's going to have to play because he's only going to have maybe 3 games to get ready, if that.
Yeah, he's not going to have a whole lot of time. But up next for PSG, we've got the match on December 16th against Lorient, and we've got a whole host of games leading up. And, one thing you can say about PSG now, if you look back at 2017, and then after that they lost to Manchester United, is that this team has turned the tide. They are big. They show up in big games. Sure, they lost to Bayern Munich, but it was only 1-0 to arguably the best team in the world. They beat Dortmund. They beat the hottest team in Europe last season, Atalanta. So this team shows up when they need to. They needed to get a result. They needed to get a win at Manchester United this year in the group stage, and they did. They needed to beat Leipzig, and they did. This team seems to be showing up when it matters, when the bright lights are on. Maybe we need to play without fans in the stadiums more often. Who knows? Whatever the secret is, Tuchel has figured something out. So say what you will about him, but he does appear to get the team ready to go when it matters. So that gives me some hope for this. So we'll save predictions when we get a little bit closer because, like you said, there's so many more injuries and things that can happen. But I'm glad we got your guys' thoughts. We were able to react to this news. It's an exciting draw. It's definitely the marquee. Hopefully it won't be like on CBS channel 18 or whatever. It'll be on the main, channel. I think it's the one everyone's going to want to see. Just real quick, if we won't give predictions, I do want to see, are there any other ties that you all are interested in checking out? What other ones you have your eye on?
For me, it's Liverpool and Leipzig.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
I think that one might get a little. That one might be interesting. There might. I don't know. I'm picking the upset here. So.
I like it. What about you, Ty?
Yeah, that's a great pick. It's Nagelsmann versus Klopp. It's like the vet versus the newcomer. It still blows my mind that Nagelsmann is like 31 or 32 years old. That's like insane. But for me, I think the draw could have been worse, and I'll piggyback that with saying I'm really interested to see the Chelsea Atletico Madrid matchup to see kind of what that looks like. I like Chelsea. I think I don't like have any Chelsea jerseys, but I enjoy watching them play. I think they have an interesting roster. So that's going to be interesting. It's like a team that is young and doesn't have the experience, but they play exciting football, versus the team that knows how to win ugly, and can pack it in. And this team that took out Liverpool last year, I think that Chelsea's actually also favored slightly, I believe, in that game. So that one's interesting. I'm trying to think. Forgive me, because I don't have
I've got Atalanta, Real Madrid. I think Atalanta could win that. They're still playing really well. They didn't lose a whole lot of talent off of last year's squad. I think they could pull an upset there.
That's a good matchup too. Papu Gomez, I told you, he wants out. I'll take him.
Yeah.
He's a little bit older. I'll take him on like a short-term deal, like a 1-2 year. Give him a little bit of money. I think that'd be a great addition coming off the bench. Maybe replaces Verratti or plays alongside Verratti. He's definitely a true number 10.
Yeah, Leo is definitely going to have to get creative in January. A lot to look forward to. We're going to try to stay updated with these podcasts. But Ty, James, I want to thank you guys for joining me quickly. But let's share, James, how can people find you on Twitter if they want to give you a shout out?
It's at Teague13. That's TEAGUE 13.
Wonderful. And Ty, how about yourself?
So yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Ty #. That's just spelled out TYPOUNDSIGN. But another sleeper matchup that's going to be really good too, that I'm just looking at the draw, is going to be Dortmund versus Sevilla. That's going to be a good one too.
Yeah, Sevilla's not going to know what to do. I mean, they're always used to winning the Europa League. Now they're like in the Champions League.
Yeah, but two attacking sides. It's going to be good.
No Haaland. I think he's out for the year, right?
Wait, what?
Oh, he is. What?
Yeah, he's injured, I believe.
What? You see, I haven't been tuned in.
Yeah, me either. I hadn't seen that.
No, I definitely didn't see that.
Notice the hype machine on Twitter hasn't been in full force for him recently.
Oh no, he's the real deal though.
Yeah, he's
the real deal. I know a lot of us hated on him a couple months back, but sitting back on it, and I think I was having this conversation with Jay, I think in a Discord chat or on Twitter, and I was like, listen, I mean, the kid's the real deal, and we have to have the conversation about it. He continues to score, and looking at Mbappe, it took him almost 12 months to score again in the CL. Not saying he's better, I'm just saying in terms of form. He's performing at a high level if he's not injured. Hopefully, that'd be unfortunate.
He's out for the year, as in through the winter
2020.
break.
Yeah, 2020.
It does what you said. I mean, it does make what Kimpembe did to him in the return leg last year in the Champions League even that much more impressive, where he just kind of flung him all over the pitch and just shut him down. So we need a performance like that out of Kimpembe against Barcelona. If we get that, then we're going to cruise. So, but we'll see. We'll see. If you want to reach out to me, I'm at PSG Talk. You know where to find me. And that's our little reaction show. Thanks, James and Ty. We'll do this again soon. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Until next time. See ya.